Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace Kripanidhi Prabhu, our revered uncle, and to all the Vaishnavi devotees who have gathered here today, and whoever may be watching this live on YouTube. Today is the 4th day of December, the last month of the year 2024. And we are very much blessed. We have one of our own dear uncles who will be speaking to us today. So, Prabhuji, as always, you're very much welcome. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So much. And actually, before we even begin, we want to wish you in advance a happy, wonderful birthday. So, thank you so much, dear uncle. And without further ado, we will put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you for the birthday wishes. It's another 20 days away, but I'm very grateful that you're offering me heartfelt best wishes that I can keep on the journey of devotional service to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 4, Text 35. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Understanding that he was remembered by Lord Krishna while quitting this world, Vidura began to cry loudly, overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love. Vidura was overwhelmed by the ecstasy of love when he understood the Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thought of him at the last moment. Although he thought of himself as insignificant, he was remembered by the Lord by his causeless mercy. Vidura accepted this as a great favor, and thus he cried. This crying is the last word in the progressive path of devotional service. One who can cry for the Lord in love is certainly successful in the line of devotional service. So in this chapter, we learn that Lord Krishna is wrapping up his transcendental activities. Of course, all of his activities are transcendental. So Krishna, he never takes birth or really dies. Ajopi san avyayatma. He's unborn and he never dies. So here we see that Krishna is leaving. He's all his pastimes are quite mysterious because he acts like an ordinary human being, although he's a supreme transcendental personality of Godhead. For example, he's known as Ranchor, the one who runs away from the battlefield. So Krishna wanted to lure Jarasandha away. Of course, Krishna is fear personified, is afraid of Krishna. Matta parataram nanyat kinchi asti dhananjaya. Krishna says that there's no truth superior to me. So there's nothing superior to Krishna. Yet we see that he's running away from the battlefield, and Jarasandha is chasing him and Balaram on a very high mountain, and he thinks that he can somehow or other kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna is also building the city of Dwarka in the ocean. Some may say, oh, he's hiding in the ocean from his enemies. These are all wonderful pastimes of the Lord. So here the Lord will unmanifest, aprakasha. He will unmanifest from this tiny little universe, this very small universe compared to many others. And the whole roadshow goes to another universe. It's a constant roadshow going on as we speak. Somewhere within the material universes, Krishna is lifting Govardhan Hill. Nitya Lila Pravishtom. Krishna's pastimes are Nitya Lila, eternal. They never stopping. And because he wants to attract his devotees and reestablish religious principles, so he's avatar, he descends to do these things either by himself, Nanavatarama Kurut, Bhuvaneshu Kintu, that either one of his avatars, out of which he has trillions and trillions of avatars, or he himself in one day of Brahma appears within the universe and enacts his wonderful pastimes. So Vidura, who is actually Lord Yamaraj, and of course sometimes Lord Yamaraj gets very exhausted with punishing people. The Bhagavad Gita, Chintama Parimayam Cha Pralayanta Upashitaha Kama Paboga Parama Patanti Narake Sucho. That the demoniac non-believers, the atheists, they're simply pursuing material sense pleasure, sense gratification, and material opulence. So, Chintama Parimayam Cha, until the end of life, Pralayantam Upashritaha, they're trying to enjoy that which cannot be enjoyed, the material world. And Patanti Narake Sucho, they actually, the unfortunate living entities, they're gliding down into the abode of Lord Yamaraj, into the hellish planets. There are many, many millions of hellish planets. There are 28 categories, but there are so many subdivisions where the living entity, when he dies out of a human body, he has to face Lord Yamaraj. So Lord Yamaraj wants to participate in Krishna's pastimes as well. He kind of takes a sabbatical, and he Krishna arranges for him to be cursed by one Muni, and he takes birth as a son of a Sudrani in the Kaurava dynasty. So he takes birth as Vidura, who's a very, very great devotee of the Lord. He's attained the highest platform of love of God. And here, Krishna is remembering his devotee. Yomam Pashati Sarvasya Sarvam Chamai Pashati. Yasyaham na pranashyami, sachame na pranashyati. Krishna says, one who sees me and everything in me, I am never lost to him, nor is he lost to me. So Krishna is also known as Bhaktavatsalya, or one who is the property of his devotee. So we see that the Pandavas, Krishna wanted to protect them in all situations, although they went through so many different trials and tribulations. However, Krishna they always came out victorious. Yatra Yogeshvare Krishna. That wherever there's Arjuna and Krishna, there's victory, morality, and strength. This is described in the 18th chapter. So Krishna is always there, as Rupa Goswami says, that one should see the Lord as his master, his friend, and his protector. So when Srila Prabhupada crossed the ocean and arrived in Boston Commonwealth Harbor, he was addressing Krishna, and he expressed a beautiful poem that, my dear friend, I don't know why you've sent me here, but you must have some mission for me. So devotee of the Lord, they're very dear to the Lord. Nachatasman manusheshu kashin me priyakritama, especially those devotees who are always trying to spread the message of Dharma, the Sanatan Dharma, the message of pure devotional service. Those who are taking steps and risks to deliver the souls. So che tato vimukatas che artam. Maya Sukaya Param Udvahato Vimudhan. Prahlad Maharaj is saying, my only lamentation is that all these fallen souls, all these conditioned souls, all these people are simply being swallowed up by the snake of time, Kalosmi, Bharatarshaba. Time is taking them, and they have to be accountable for all their activities, all their sinful activities, being attached. Baro means society, friendship, and love. So the entire material world, the living entities are somehow becoming attached and thinking that they're happy in this material environment. Pumsos trio maitani bhava metam tayor eva ridya granti mahu. Their heart is full of a big knot of my children, my wealth, my house, ato griha, kshetra, sutta, apta, my children, my friends, my society. And Prabhupada says sometimes a man, even at the time of death, is asking the doctor, please give me just a few more days so I can get my daughter married. Prabhupada had an experience like this, a real life observation that this gentleman, this man in Calcutta was, doctor, please extend my life for a few more months so I can arrange my daughter's marriage. So this is the problem here in the material world, intense attachment to the friends, relatives, wife, children, and so on. Of course, Vidura, he's a transcendentalist, and he's completely absorbed Chaitasa Sarva Karma Nimai Sanyasya Matpara Buddhi Yoga Mupashritaha. That Krishna tells Arjuna, Chaitasa Sarva Karma, always think of me, always be conscious of me. Ihayasya Hare Bhaktir Karmana Manasa Gira Nikilash Papu Avastasu Jivan Mukta Sayuchite. So Rupa Goswami is saying that the devotee of the Lord, he's always dedicating his mind, his activities, Karmana Manasa Gira, his household, everything in relationship and in service out of loving devotion to the Lord. This is the secret. This is the mystery of Bhakti Yoga, that from the outside, people cannot recognize. They can't understand. What are these Hare Krishnas? Why are they so enthusiastic and determined? Utsahan Nischayat. Why are they enthusiastic and determined to serve this person that they don't even see? Krishna, the demoniac people, they do not understand. Adharmam dharmam itya manyate tamasavita. That the person in the mode of ignorance sees dharma as adharma, and he sees adharma as dharma. So the demoniac person is saying, why is this Prahlad? Why are these people giving so much trouble to me? Why are they causing me so much? Why are they disturbing me? Why don't they leave me alone? They're simply causing a disturbance in society. They see like this because they're blinded by the Mama Maya, by the illusory energy of the Lord. So the Lord is there at every moment in the life of the devotee. He is inside and outside. He's everywhere, as we read about glorify Lord Nrsingadev every day. And the devotee of the Lord sees it, everything. Rasoham apsukontaya, even the light of the sun and the moon, the taste of water, all these things, the devotee sees, oh, that is Krishna. He doesn't see anything separate from Lord Krishna. So here Vidura has attained this very high level of prema bhakti. There's so many types of bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga influenced by the various modes of nature. There's actually 81 different combinations of devotional service. But the prema bhakti service is ahaitukiya pratiyata. It is without any subtle or gross motivations. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is famous for cleaning the Gundicha Mandir to prepare for Lord Jagannath to come and sit on the mandap, on the altar in the Gundicha Mandir. So he asked Maharaj Prataparudra, who is a great devotee of the Lord, to please supply with brooms and buckets. And in this way, a line of men who were standing made a line all the way to the Narendra Sarovar. It's a nice small lake, a small ghat near the Gundicha Mandir. And they were taking water and chanting Krishna, Krishna, and passing buckets of water. And it's described by Krishnadas Kaviraj how first of all, they took their brooms and cleaned all the little bits of dirt and all the straws and so on. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu was directing everyone, Supreme Personality of Godhead, was directing everyone how to clean this Gundicha Mandir so that Lord Jagannath could be received properly. So we want to receive the Lord in our heart. That is prema bhakti. And therefore, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says, Adoshadata sadhu sangha, anartani briti sat, tato nishtat tataruchi. So first we associate with devotees, and because we have some faith that there is a God, and then gradually we become fixed, we lose all our anartas, all our unwanted desires. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur describes subtle desires within the mind, within the heart. Pratishta, a desire for superior position, a desire to be adored and have a distinct position, pratishta, false pride, like that. He's warning that even in the assembly of devotees, we may be influenced by pratishta or puja, the desire to be worshipped by many followers or worshipped by people as a superior devotee. So puja, pratishta, then there's jiva hinsa, which means envious of any living entity, not just envious of devotees, but envious of any living entity, including non-devotees. So devotee is abdveshta sarva bhutanam maitra karuna evacha nirmamo nirhankaro niryogo samaduka sukakshami. So devotee of the Lord, he starts manifesting these qualities as he attains prema bhakti. Prema bhakti. No desire for respect or honor or followers or, have some false pride. How dare you insult me or offend me? No. So these are pitfalls or blockades on one's process in devotional service that one has to be very careful of in his journey to the lotus feet of Krishna. So adveshta, non-envy. I'm not envious of any living being. Sarvabhutanam. Maitra karuna. I'm a friend to everyone. I'm a friend. What does a friend do? He tried to give them the gift. So Srila Prabhupada is the greatest friend because he's giving prema. He's giving love of God. He's giving us the science of bhakti yoga. Kirtanad Iva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Vajat. Simply by chanting these holy names of God, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sharva Shaktis, the Tarpita Niyamita Smarane Naka. that this holy name of God is the greatest gift to human society, because by this process of chanting, Mukta Sangha, one goes back to the spiritual world. Mukta means liberation. Real liberation is to engage 24 hours a day without any interruption or motive in the service of the Lord. Vaipum Samparo Dharmo, Yito Bhaktira Dokshaje. So the non-devotees, as we mentioned, they cannot understand. They cannot understand what are these people doing? Just like Prakashananda Saraswati, he was in Varanasi, and one devotee, one Brahmin came and said, "Oh, this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's dancing in ecstasy, this sannyasi. He's rolling on the ground, tears are flowing from his eyes like torrents of rain. Yugayitam nameshena chakshusha prabhishayitam. Tears are flowing from his eyes like torrents of rain. His skin is erupting. His skin is erupting and you know, foaming at the mouth. These are all symptoms of ecstatic love for God. Here, Prophet says that the perfection of life is when one cries for the Supreme Lord. So this is not artificial, but when one feels some attachment to Krishna, when one feels some attraction to the Lord, then his heart fills up with emotion, feelings of affection towards the Supreme Lord. That is the end game. That's the end game. That is what Gauranga Mahaprabhu is trying to give us. And he's empowered all the 6 Goswamis to give us these literatures describing the bhav and the prema, symptoms of love of God, the process of devotional service, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the ocean, Sindhu, the ocean of the devotional service, the nectarine, the Rasamrita, the immortal nectarine ocean of devotion to the Lord. And Rupa Goswami was empowered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya would enter into certain bodies like Nakula Brahmachari and Nishingananda Brahmachari and Narottam Das Thakur. He entered into their bodies and imbued them with pure love for Krishna. That is the mercy of Lord in this age of Kali, that he's giving us such a simple and easy process. Simply have to be very careful in our execution. Utsahan nischaya dhiryat tat karma pravartanat. With enthusiasm, nischaya, determination, and patience. Utsahan nischaya dhiryat. With patience, and always be careful not to accept offenses or cause offenses to anyone. So when Prakashananda Saraswati Thakur, Prakashananda Saraswati, the Mayavadi, he was saying, "Oh, he's not a real sannyasi." He insulted the God himself. "Oh, he's not a real sannyasi. He's a sentimentalist. Why is he not performing austerities and studying Vedanta? You know, Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. Brahman is truth. The universe is false." No, this is simply foolish philosophy. Vimukti maninas tviyashtabhavad avishuddha buddhaya. Avishuddha buddhaya, they have no brain. Their intelligence is contaminated. Avishuddha buddhaya. Arya krichena param param tata. They think they've attained the highest thing, Brahman. Patanti ado nadriti yushmadangraya. Because they have no love for Krishna's lotus feet. They have no love for the son of Maharajnanda. It hasn't been revealed to them. Then they fall back again into the material halo, into the material environment, and they open up schools and hospitals, and you know, they say service to man is service to Manava Seva, Madhava Seva, service to man, service to God. So they again fall into illusion. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful in this age of Kali that even he was insulted. It's like when Lord Chaitanya was, when Krishna was insulted by, the tailor, the Kamsa's tailor, Krishna just hit him in the head and knocked his head off. Well, Krishna and Balaram were going into the arena, the wrestling arena in Mathura. Krishna was hell bent on, killing Kamsa, a huge demon. He had the strength of 10,000 elephants, and he defeated all these demons and forced them to align with him. The Kovalyapida, the great elephant demon, and Bhomasura, the great Bhomasura, the very, very powerful king, Banasura, the son of Bali Maharaj, with thousands of arms. They're all demoniac. Vida gorilla, very powerful demoniac person. So all these demons were lined up behind Kamsa, but Krishna, he killed all the demons. But Gauranga Mahaprabhu, although Prakashananda Saraswati is very offensive, Mayavad Shunile, that this Pakandi, this Mayavad philosophy is very offensive to the Lord. Lord Chaitanya was very humble and tolerant. He was very, very humble and tolerant. Amanidvam, Adambidvam, Amanidvam, humble state of mind. Adambidvam, freedom from false pride. Adambidvam, freedom from arrogance. So he simply approached and sat at the ashram of Prakashananda Saraswati, where people wash their feet. Although he's God himself, in the age of Kali, he acts as a very merciful devotee, very merciful, very humble, like Prahlad Maharaj. His father's trying to kill him in so many ways, but he prayed to Lord Nrsingadev, please bless my father that he may go back to Vaikuntha. And Lord Nrsingadev blessed Prahlad in this 21 generations backwards and forwards will go back to the spiritual world. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he endowed so many offensive people with love for Krishna. They had no qualification whatsoever. They were actually demonic. Namam duskritina mudha, prapadyante naradhama, mayaya aparita jnana, asuram bhavam ashritaha. Krishna says 4 kinds of persons never surrender to me. So that's in Dwapara Yuga. But here in Kali Yuga, everyone is asuri bhavam, engaging in so many sinful activities, killing of cows, trying to stop Vedic culture, abusing preachers. Like in America, when we're preaching, so much abuse is there in the West. So these things are going on, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar. Mosamo Patita Prabhu, Napaibe Ar. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is the most merciful. Patita Pavana. He is so merciful that he's merciful to those who are devoid of any good qualities and who are in full misery, who are suffering in misery. So Vidura also, he also is full of ecstasy and love, and he's a very great well-wisher of the Pandavas. He's full of love for the Pandavas, and he was also very compassionate even to his brother Dhritarashtra, who we know was very envious, very demonic. He was so attached to his Duryodhana, his son, who was very demonic, tried to kill the Pandavas, poison, fire, in so many ways, cheating, gambling, in so many ways, very demonic, very hateful, and very envious. But Vidura actually converted Dhritarashtra and preached to him and convinced him to go to the Himalayas and at least attain some level of God realization at the end of his life. So this is the compassion that the great devotees, not only do they love Krishna, but they're very forgiving. Shama. Shama means to forgive. The devotees, they don't hold grudges. They don't hold yasmin nod vijate loko, loka nod vijate chaya. One who causes no anxiety to others or does not offend anyone, or never, even in the event of being offended, the devotee does not accept the offense. Like we know that Haridas Thakur was offended by Ramachandra Khan. Haridas Thakur is very famous, great Mahashaya, great devotee of the Lord, chanting 300,000 names of God every day. And so Ramachandra Khan, he was a senior person, an aristocrat in a town. He sent a young prostitute to try and defame Haridas Thakur. But Haridas Thakur is so powerful that he had so much compassion on this young girl that he converted her to, and she was also chanting 300,000 names of God every day. To see the power of the great devotees of the Lord. And he forgave this Ramachandra Khan. He said, I know what Ramachandra Khan's conspiracy is. So he decided to leave Benapola, where he was living, and he walked to a place called Chandanpura, where Govardhan Majumdara and Hiranya Majumdara, the father and uncle of Raghunath Das, was living near Shantipur. However, Lord Nityananda, he was very angry. The devotee doesn't accept any offense, but the Lord and other devotees, they will defend a devotee who's being offended. So Nityananda, of course, came to the town of Ramachandra Khan, and Ramachandra Khan insulted him. He said, I don't want to meet this person, and let him stay at the cow shed. He sent his servant a message, let this person, Nityananda Avaduta, let him stay at the cow shed. So Lord Nityananda, he was very angry. And he said, this place of Ramachandra Khan is not even fit for meat eaters. So a few days later, the Muslim government came and destroyed and pilfered and destroyed the entire town of Ramachandra Khan. All his relatives, all his subjects, everyone suffered this reaction of offense to a great devotee, Haridas Thakur Namacharya. And the Muslim military, they took a cow and killed it on his altar where he was worshiping Durga. In this way, the entire village was ruined. Ramachandra Khan was ruined. So this is called Hatimata, or an offense to a great devotee or any devotee of the Lord. Is one of the most serious offenses we could commit, is offending the Vaishnavas. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always emphasized Trinada Pisunichena, Tadoreva Sahishnuna, Amani Namana Dena, Kirtaniya Sada Hare. The one should always chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind. One should engage in devotional service, thinking oneself the lowest on the totem pole, so to speak, lowest on the ladder, lower than straw on the street. The grass is very, very insignificant. People walk on the grass all day. But a devotee feels even lower than the grass. Step on my head, like that, and tolerant like the tree. Todor eva sahishnuna. Sahishnuna, one should tolerate all kinds of difficulties, all kinds of abuses, tolerate in so many ways. One must be very tolerant. That means one must develop one's love for Krishna. And when one is fully in love with God, then of course he can tolerate so much because he's full of compassion for all the fallen souls. And he realizes, Mam chayo vyabhicharana bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitan brahma boyaya kalpate. Krishna tells Arjuna, the one who's engaged in my pure devotional service, he's transcendental. Pure devotional service means prema bhakti, engaging with great love and devotion to the lotus feet of Krishna. So the great devotees of the Lord, they're always fixed on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Krishna's lotus feet are very beautiful. It's a very personal feature of the Lord. It's extremely personal. And the devotee simply wants to remember these beautiful lotus feet of the Lord and all his other beautiful features. And in this way, overwhelmed by the ocean of love for the Lord, one is able to tolerate everything. Haridas Thakur is the prime example of this, that he was beaten in 22 marketplaces with whips, and they were supposed to kill him. The government officials said, you must kill this person who has converted to Hinduism. But Haridas Thakur, he was simply praying to Lord Chaitanya, please forgive them. Please let them go back to Godhead and let me accept their sinful reactions. And he was praying so fervently, as Lord Chaitanya was angry, he was trying to send Sudarshan Chakra to kill these constables. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told later on, and Haridas Thakur, your prayers are so powerful that my Sudarshan Chakra was not able to go there and kill them. So the devotee of the Lord is extremely tolerant because of his love for God. He has so much compassion for the fallen souls. Para Dukkha Dukhi. Prahlad Maharaj is described as Para Dukkha Dukhi. He doesn't care about anything. Yeah, he has Krishna. He has love of God. So his only care is that these souls in the world, they're suffering so much every day. Mamupecha punarjanma dukhalayam shashvatam napnavanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gati. The world is simply temporary and full of misery. So persons like Vidura, we hear about Uddhava here in this chapter, Maitreya Muni, great Muni. These are great personalities who are simply very elevated in devotion to the Lord, always glorifying the Lord, and always trying to uplift human society. And in today's society, of course, the only want is this mission of Lord Chaitanya, the Sankirtan movement, Kali Kalera Dharm Harinam Sankirtan. That in the age of Kali, the process for attaining self-realization, i.e. love of Krishna, love of God, is this Sankirtan movement. Kali Kalera Namarupa Krishna Avatar, Namahoite Hoy, Sarpa Jagat Nishtar. Then in this age of Kali, the Lord appears in his holy name, and his holy name is so powerful. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. It is so powerful. It is like Chintamani stone. It transforms all living beings, moving and unmoving, into the state of ecstatic love for Krishna. And the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan have been empowered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to guide us through all their writings, all their teachings. Hari Bhakti Vilas by Sanatana Goswami, Brihad Bhagavatam Rita by Sanatana Goswami, Upadesha Rita by Rupa Goswami, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami, and other books, Danakeli Kumudi, more esoteric books about what is God doing in the spiritual world, herding cows, playing with his friends, dancing with the milkmaids, and so many things. So devotees are fully absorbed in these machita madgata kama, bodhiyantas parasparam, katayantas shamam nityam, tushyanti cha ramanti cha, machita madgata prana. Their lives are surrendered unto me, their lives are absorbed in me. Machita, their minds and consciousness are completely absorbed in me. This is samadhi. Lord Chaitanya was exhibiting this kind of trance, ecstatic trance and love of God when he saw the Chataka Parvata, the sand dunes along the beaches of Jagadapuri. He immediately reminded him of the Govardhan Hill. And so he went into an ecstatic trance and he started running at the speed of the wind towards this Chataka Parvat, the sand dunes on the beaches near the Jagannath temple. And then he fell into a kind of trance. And when devotees caught up with him, they were able to bring him to what is called half external consciousness. So these writings by Krishnadas Kaviraj is simply slowly revealing to us what our purpose here in this body is for, and how we can transform our lives and progress on our journey back to the eternal abode of Lord Krishna, where there's no death, no miseries, no time, where walking is dancing, talking is singing, and time is conspicuous by its absence. So Vidura here is exemplifying this. It's the Krishna's wrapping up his pastimes here in this particular era, this end of Dwapara Yuga. And he's thinking of Vidura, thinking of his devotee as he is leaving his manifestation, his manifest form. Also, Arjuna saw Krishna's universal form at the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Krishna was showing him, I am this Param Brahm, Param Dham, Pavicham Paramambhavam, Pavicham Paramambhavam, Purisham Shashvatam Devyam, Adi Deva Majam Vibhum. Krishna is everything. Supreme, the supreme truth, Param Brahm, Param Dham, the supreme Dham, shelter, the supreme abode, Pavicham, the supreme pure, so many things. And then he showed his Virat Rup, his universal form to Arjuna, which is very fearful. Krishna's universal form is destroying all kinds of different types of species of heavenly beings and lower heavenly beings, yakshas and kinnaras and gandharvas, and so many types of beings throughout the universe. And they're all being eaten by the time factor. So Arjuna was quite a little bit perturbed. And then Krishna revealed his beautiful two-armed form to Arjuna, his friend. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Krishna says, you're my devotee and my friend. Don't worry. And he showed his two-armed form to Krishna. And he said, Bhaktistu ananyaya shakya. Ahamevam vidor Arjuna. Gatum drastum chatatvena. Praveshtum cha parantapa. That by ananyaya, devotional service, devoid of mental speculation or fruitive desires. We don't want jnana bhakti, we don't want karma bhakti. Prema bhakti. Prema bhakti is exhibited when a person develops into raga bhakti, raganuga, spontaneous devotion to Krishna, without any tarnish of I'm a great scholar. I know so much. Like Krishna said, "Na bitter na tapasa na danina na chejaya." You can't get me. Just like one brahmachari, he wanted to enter into the house of Srivasthakur during the kirtans with Gauranga Mahaprabhu, very exclusive. Only the most intimate associates of Gauranga Mahaprabhu could be involved, would be invited into these nocturnal kirtans at the house of Srivasthakur. So this one brahmachari, he was only eating fruit and drinking milk. And he begged Srivasthakur, please, I simply want to see this ecstatic kirtan behind the door, behind your walls of your home. And so Srivasthakur, being very sympathetic, allowed this brahmachari to hide in the corner of the hall. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu was dancing and dancing. He said, oh, something's wrong. There's someone here that shouldn't be here. Srivas, is there someone here? Did you allow someone that is not one of my most confidential associates? And Srivasthakur confessed. And then Lord Chaitanya saw the brahmachari. He said, you cannot attain me. You cannot attain my favor by fasting and eating fruit and milk. Only by devotion to me. Only by pure devotion to me. I don't care about your austerities. He said, where is your love? So many people. Durvas Muni is such a great austere person, performing so much yoga, mystic yoga, and asceticism, big ascetic. But without his love, without devotion, he offended Ambarish Maharaj. We know the story. He was so angry, Ambarish Maharaj. He took such an offense. So this is the point that Gauranga Mahaprabhu is making and Krishna is making, that you cannot purchase me by studying of Vedas and performing these great austerities. So Lord Chaitanya scooted the brahmachari out, but then he felt some compassion because the brahmachari was very humble and he exited by himself. So Lord Chaitanya brought him back into the kirtan. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very, very merciful to all living beings and very forgiving also, exhibiting the qualities of a devotee. Devotees are more compassionate than Lord himself. And therefore the Lord is so grateful when devotees take risks to deliver the fallen souls and bring them back home, back to Godhead. Otherwise, it's simply darkness. Tata pralinas tamasa mudo jonishi jayate. Krishna tells Arjuna in the 14th chapter that one who urdvam gachanti shatvashta, one who dies in the mode of goodness, he goes to the heavenly planets, Svargaloka, Tapaloka, Janaloka, all these higher planets, and enjoys for millions and millions of human years. And then Madhyatishtanti Rajasa, one who dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth in the middle planets where there's misery, happiness, misery, material happiness, material misery, and so on. The Tapralinas Tamasa, but one who dies in the mode of ignorance takes birth in the animal species of life. So most people are influenced by this tamagun. They're committing great offenses by killing animals and eating the flesh of animals. These are all Krishna's dear parts and parcels. As we know, all living creatures are Krishna's parts and parcels. And then they engage in demoniac activities such as intoxication, gambling, illicit sex, and so many sinful activities. Therefore, at the time of death, the Yamadutas come and drag their subtle bodies down the road to the Yamasadana, to the judgment abode of Lord Yamaraj. And they're full of fear. They're still observing, and their entrails are torn asunder by the elephants of hell. There's barking dogs. This is all described by Kapila Dev in the 3rd canto. of how in a few moments the Yamaduta is very ugly and smelly. They grab this person who is suddenly seeing these Yamadutas with his subtle body being pulled out of his gross body. This is real. At every moment, ahani ahani bhutani gachantiya yamalayam. At every moment, step by step, people are entering, going down to this hellish place, hellish world. And Stasha Himasharmataparam, the greatest wonder in the world, Stasha Savram Ichanti, is that no one's thinking, I'm next. Prabhupada said, just like the animals are going into slaughterhouse, but they don't understand, they have no understanding that they're next under the chopping block. So the living entities are being devoured by the laws of karma. Karma daiva nature, jehu jantu papatya. And they have no idea that you're wasting your human form of life. And you're simply not just wasting it, but you have to suffer so much after the time of death because you did not take shelter of the son of Maharajnanda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Enechio Shadi Maya Nashi Baralagi. That please take this medicine. Harinama Mahamantra Layo Tumi Magi. Just I'm begging you to take this Mahamantra, which is non-different from God Himself. The Mahamantra is non-different from Krishna. Namachintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. If we take this seriously under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, Tad Iva Sagurami Vabhigachet, Tad Vigyanartam Sagurami Vabhigachet, Samitpani Shrotriam Brahmanishtam. That we have to very humbly beg the spiritual master for mercy and serve him like a menial servant. And so we can get this mercy, the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, the mercy of Srimati Radharani. Krishna in the mood of Radharani is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, more merciful than Krishna himself. So I thank you very much for lending your ears and giving me your association. I hope that something was of significance and value that I spoke. If there's any comments or questions, I'm more than happy to listen to or try to address them.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Of course, so many significance and values from the Katha shared today. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, realizations, you may want to ask or share, indicate by using the hand emoji, your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question. But Prabhuji, I have this question actually even before you started speaking, and it was also very much highlighted when you were speaking, that Krishna, we understand there are many universes, and we are in one of the universes which, as we are told, is like the smallest universe. And Krishna performs pastimes in one universe and then goes to another universe. When the scriptures speak this way, does that mean that Earth planet, which is within this small universe with the four-headed Brahma, is the only place that the Lord comes to enact pastimes, or he goes to other planets within this universe? And even before you answer, when Krishna appeared as Vamana Dev, and transcendentally tricked Bali Maharaj, was it on this earth planet or somewhere else? This is my doubt, Prabhuji, if you may help.
Yeah. There's a verse, Kotishu Asheshu Vishadari. This verse is in the Brahma Samhita. Kotishu means millions and millions of universes. Kotishu Asheshu Vishadari. Tat Brahma Nishkalam. That within the Brahma Jyoti, so many billions and trillions of universes are floating. And in each universe, the Lord appears. He can expand himself millions and trillions of times. And then in our universe, of course, he has appeared, and we're hearing about that from the great sage Vedavyas and Sukadev Goswami. So your question is, does Krishna only appear in this tiny little universe of ours? Does he go to other universes? My educated guess is that
No, sorry, Prabhuji. I didn't mean that though. But what I'm trying to, I understand that he goes to different universes. Once he finishes his lila in one universe, he goes to another universe. But my question is, within one universe, does he always go to one particular planet? Like each time the Supreme Lord comes into this universe with four-headed Brahma, does he always come to the Earth planet, or he goes to a planet like maybe the Moon planet or the Sun planet or Mercury, Venus? I don't know, many planets.
That's over my pay grade. Over my pay grade. But I remember one time Prabhupada said, one devotee asked Prabhupada, and I remember this. Prabhupada, is Lord Chaitanya like all the different planets in our universe? Is this Kali Yuga Dharma, this Sankirtan Dharma, is it being spread? Because we're just one little Bharat Varsha. There's 7 Varshas on Jambudweep, and then there's Ilavarta Varsha and it's Rudra Varsha, different Varshas, and then different Dweepas, different islands, Plaksha Dweep and this Dweep and that Dweep. And Prabhupada said, just like you have a city or a country, but they have one capital, one headquarters. And from the headquarters, the king may have different satellites governing areas or governing offices. So he was indicating that yes, this Bharat Varsha, where Gauranga Mahaprabhu walked 500 years ago, we were asking about Gauranga Mahaprabhu, said, yeah, this is like the main headquarters, but there's so many outlying bases throughout the Bhumandala where the sun's rays extend. The heavenly planets, though, Prabhupada describes that the demigods are praying, can I take a human-like birth in this area of Bhumandala, because I can participate in the Sankirtan movement and go back home, back to Godhead very easily. So that indicated to me that one thing. And I've never heard Prabhupada write anywhere, but in each universe, is there like another Earth planet, like a Bhumandala with a sun and a moon, and the area, the middle planets, like the middle area, which is Bhumandala. There's 14 different planetary systems, right? There's the lower subterranean heavenly planets, there's hellish planets, there's the Patalas and the Vitalas, and Bali Maharaj, he lives in the Vitala planet, which in this universe is what I gathered. So in all these trillions of universes, it's beyond our mental capacity, I suppose. Achintya Guna is inconceivable, but there must be a similar program going on for Krishna to deliver fallen souls. not just our little planet with Lord Brahma's 4 heads. That would be my uneducated guess on that.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Anyone else with something to ask? I have one other question, but if someone has a question, please, you may go ahead. Yes, Govina Prabhu, please go ahead. Unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much. My respectful obeisances to you. And thank you very, very much for this wonderful presentation of Krishna Katha. Very, very juicy, satisfactory. There's no words to describe this nectar that has poured from your lotus lips into our ears this morning. Thank you so much. Thank you. My question is, Prabhu, it's about this sampradaya. You know, there are 4 sampradayas: Shiva, Brahma, Lakshmi, Uma. Apart from these 4 sampradayas, is there any other way that the living entities can go back to Godhead without taking shelter under one of these 4 sampradayas?
Yeah, that's a good question, because in Vrindavan we see there are many what we call Babajis there, and perhaps they belong to one of the 4 sampradayas. We hear stories of one. His name was he left his parents and Radhanath Swami. Before he became a devotee, he was staying with this person, and the person was extremely somehow devoted to Krishna and Radha. Was he a member of a sampradaya? I don't think so, but he seemed to be ending up his final incarnation, his last birth here in this world. I mean, Prabhupada said one who dies in Vrindavan will go back to the spiritual world. So there must be exceptions. However, Krishna clearly tells Arjuna that, we have to accept the sampradaya. Prabhupada also mentions that all the other 3 sampradayas, they're all amalgamated into the Brahma, Madhava, Gaudiya sampradaya in Kali Yuga. That the Kumara sampradaya, Nimbarkacharya, and the Lakshmi sampradaya and Rudra sampradayas, that they're not very active. And so Gauranga Mahaprabhu amalgamates them all into the Madhava Gaudiya Vaishnava sampradaya. Without the guidance of the sampradaya, without the representative acharya, how can one actually get the mercy of the Lord? It'd be very, very difficult, almost impossible for the average person. And so Gauranga Mahaprabhu is empowered, Srila Prabhupada, under the instructions of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that you take this sampradaya. Prabhupada used to refer to it as party. This is the Madhava Gaudiya party. We're this party, not a political party, but a spiritual party, and take it throughout the world. So one must, tad viginartam sagurumi vabhikachet. One must accept the living spiritual master who is in the line coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or there are Ramanuja and Sri Sampradaya in South India, but in terms of the entire world with all the various countries, this Sampradaya of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is being made available to all fallen souls, you know, throughout the planet, all 7 billion souls, human bodies. So your question probably has some exceptions. There are exceptions because when I go to Vrindavan, sometimes you see these Babajis and they're just chanting all day, 24 hours a day. They're singing kirtan and they're following, you know, the basic dharmic principles. Are they part of a sampradaya? May or may not be. I'm not sure. There are occasions where we have encountered Babajis who don't have a sampradaya. They're just somehow Krishna has guided them to Vrindavan. They're chanting the holy names of God day and night, and certainly destined back to the spiritual world. But those are very uncharacteristic, unusual situations. Shine Punya Marcha Loka Vishanti Hazago. That the devotee picks up where he left off in his last life, and Krishna arranges for him to take birth in a family, pious family or wealthy family, and continue in his devotional practices. Krishna describes that in the Bhagavad Gita. So, yeah, Prabhupada is bringing us the sampradaya, which is extremely potent and powerful. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has rejuvenated it, reinvigorated it, and now we're getting the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he has predicted that in every town, every village of the world, people will take to the chanting of Hare Krishna for the next 10,000 years. Kritayad Kalayad Hari Kirtanad, that in the age of Kali, this process of chanting under the guidance of a bona fide acharya, spiritual master, will certainly give us pure love of God. That is guaranteed. So that's my incapable response to you. It's a good question, though.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Govinda Prabhu, thank you for the question, and beloved uncle, thank you for the answer. But one question I have in connection to Sri Govinda Prabhu's question is that stemming from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya describes himself as a gardener, and he describes himself as the tree, the fruit-bearing tree in the garden. And this fruit-bearing tree has so many branches that we may not even be able to count. And all these branches are still connected to the main tree. So that means that there are many, many branches of this sampradaya that today they may not be called Gaudiya Sampradaya, but they are the Sampradaya. This is my assumption. And for example, we do not strictly consider Christians to be belonging to any of the four Sampradayas. But I have also heard several times where Srila Prabhupada referred to Lord Jesus Christ as a Vaishnava. And so if Lord Jesus Christ is a Vaishnava and is not considered to be belonging to any of the four Sampradayas, then what we say, I don't know this, it's just Google. I'm not smart. It's Google just helped me. But I would like to share this statement by Srila Prabhupada from Canto 4, chapter 6, text 47. Persons who observe everything with differentiation, who are simply attached to fruitive activities, who are mean-minded, who are always pained to see the flourishing condition of others, and who thus give distress to them by uttering harsh and piercing words, have already been killed by providence. Thus, there is no need for them to be killed again by an exalted personality like you. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that a Vaishnava should follow the example of such Vaishnavas as Haridas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu, and also Lord Jesus Christ. There is no need to kill anyone who has already been killed, but it should be noted herewith that a Vaishnava should not tolerate the blaspheming of Vishnu or Vaishnavas, although he should tolerate personal insults to himself.
Mm-hmm.
So this also answers a question I had, because you were expressing the importance of tolerance, that a devotee should tolerate. But here, Srila Prabhupada is helping us understand what you're saying, that if something is against us ourselves, we should be very, very tolerant. But when it is against our fellow Vaishnava or the Supreme Lord, then we do not have to tolerate. But these are the things I just wanted to highlight, that Lord Jesus Christ is hereby referred to as a Vaishnava. Yet, Christianity is not considered to be belonging to any of the four sampradayas.
Right. Just like there are examples like Bhaktivinoda Thakur in some of his writings are saying that there are people who are devoted to God, but they have different rituals, etc. So in that sense, in a very broad way, Vaishnav means servant of God or devotee of God. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur urges us to show respect to these various religious pathways, whether it's Islam or Zoroastrian or Christianity, Judaism, where they believe that there's a supreme being, that we should respect them. One who considers himself a servant of God, of course, you can say in a broad way or a general way that he's a Vaishnava, servant of God. He may not be calling God Vishnu, he may be calling him Jehovah or Allah, but the devotion and the theology of devotion, we see that thread of theology running through the Bible and through the Quran and other religious groups, the Old Testament, the Judaism, where one should renounce material desires, one should be careful of the influence of what they call Satan, or we call Maya. One should avoid, the pitfalls of greed and lust and anger and envy and so on. So there are many very parallel threads of instructions in these various world religions. So here, Prabhupada, in that purport you read, is including Jesus, Lord Jesus Christ. And Prabhupada had great respect. Yeah, he's a devotee of the Lord. He's preaching, love thy Lord with all thy heart and all thy soul, and all their, like this, and treat all beings as you would treat yourself, all these various dictums in the Bible. You should not commit adultery, you should not steal. Those things are also there in the Bhagavatam. So the the language may be different, but the theme, the underlying current, the underpinning current is extremely, similar. A lot of similarities. And so when Prabhupada went to America, some famous theologians like Harvey Cox, a very famous theologian from Harvard, he had such great respect that this person is Jesus-like, and had such great, he just glorified Prabhupada. He's a huge, huge theologian in America. He advises the president of the USA on new religions. And he had such great, he even told devotees, if I was younger, I'd become a devotee. Although he was completely immersed in Christianity. He knew all the various books of Christianity and so on. But he could recognize that here is the devotee of God. So similarly, on the other hand, Prabhupada is recognizing Lord Jesus Christ as a great preacher and devotee of God, and presenting it perhaps in a little different language and so on, right? But the theology is very, very parallel to the theology. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I have one more and probably the last thing I will say for today. It's a humble request for you to share something. But I'm also, again, going to request you to kind of streamline the sharing, because I understand that because today's text talks about Krishna's departure and Vidura being graciously overwhelmed that the Supreme Lord remembered him before he left the planet. So when he remembers that, he just cries. And Prabhupada is telling us is a very wonderful tool. And you helped us that we cannot fake it. Otherwise, I will fake it and cry. But we cannot fake it. It has to be natural. But I understand that you were present with Srila Prabhupada the very time he gave his last breath. Now, because I'm saying this because it's very difficult for lots of us, and particularly my crazy self, it's difficult for me to go over the whole scenario of how Srila Prabhupada left. Is too difficult. But I would just like to hear from you, like, what your personal experience was when you were with Srila Prabhupada before he left. Well, like realizations you had, what you witnessed people also go through, if you may share a few things like that with us, Prabhuji.
Well, that morning the Prabhupada was leaving, no one was admitting that Prabhupada was, imminent. His death was imminent. So I went into his room at about 3:00 in the morning, and there was only 3 other devotees in the room: Bhardwaj, Bhakti True Maharaj, and Jayadvaita Maharaj, and they were attending to Srila Prabhupada. And so I was chanting to Srila Prabhupada, and during that time, they sat Prabhupada up. He was trying to say something and they couldn't make it out. And when I saw Srila Prabhupada's physical condition, my heart I almost fainted. My heart became very like feelings of, perspiration, and just I was going pale. I was losing the blood to my head, it was such a shock. And then I could realize what the real condition of Srila Prabhupada was. It was just flesh on bone, you know. It was very shocking and traumatic, very traumatic. So when we finally heard that, yeah, Prabhupada's going to leave at around 7 o'clock, we all went into the room. It was an extremely focused time. We were focused on chanting to Srila Prabhupada and just focus on Prabhupada lying there. And he was just listening to the chanting. He wasn't himself chanting until the last moment when he said, Hare Krishna. But we were so preoccupied and caught up in the drama and the emotion and the stress of this event that was about to take place, you know, that I wasn't thinking so much about, you know, what's going to happen in the future, or, oh my God, you know, we're just right in the moment that Srila Prabhupada, and we're just chanting to him, you know. It was a very heavy, heavy emotional energy in the room. I mean, there was about 200 of us in this small room. Maybe more than 200. Myself personally, it was like a heavy weight on my shoulders, a heavy weight in my heart. I was just overwhelmed by heaviness, you know, just heaviness. I wasn't crying. I wasn't hysterical. Many devotees became hysterical. Some of them were sannyasis, and they were yelling and crying and so on. But I for some reason, I was just focused on the holy name and chanting. And then there were some little kids there too from the Gurukula. The first batch of Gurukulas were there. And I noticed that they were just kind of like looking and seeing what was going on from the mind of a child. But Jayadvaita Maharaj was there, Bhakti Maharaj. It was just very grave. A lot of the devotees like Jayadvaita Maharaj, extremely grave. There weren't tears. It was just gravity. The next day, of course, when we took Srila Prabhupada's body around to the 7 primary temples of Vrindavan, when we got to the Radha Damodar temple, I saw many of Prabhupada's leaders just break down in tears. Tears are just flowing. Myself, I just really tried to keep it together. I had mixed emotions, very mixed emotions. What's going to happen to Prabhupada's movement? Chaos will follow, just like the Gaudiya Math. But somehow I kept it together. When Prabhupada left, Jayadvaita kicked everyone out of the room, and they had to dress Prabhupada. And then my GBC member, he asked for devotees to dig Prabhupada's samadhi. And no one put their hand up. So I put my hand up, and I said, I'll dig Prabhupada's samadhi. And Abhinanda, who's my friend from Washington, godbrother and friend, he put his hand up. So 2 little brahmacharis, we were the ones that volunteered to. For me, it was a great fortune and honor to do it, you know. And you know, I just rolled up my sleeves and got into it, and it was a kind of way of grieving for Srila Prabhupada to prepare his final samadhi, you know. So for me, it was a great mercy to be able to do that, and it took the whole night. So it was just heavy on my heart, heavy on the emotion on the chest. It was like a heavy weight on the chest is all I felt. I've cried for Prabhupada a few times in my life, but not then. It was just so intense what was happening, so much intensity, and what, you know, we have to have the last rites performed. We have to organize, and they'd asked me to do different activities as well as digging Prabhupada Samadhi. I had to do I had other assignments given to me. It was most devotees were just extremely serious, like really serious and grave. That was what I observed. A few devotees were crying, women mainly, and a couple of the men. I remember one sannyasi went totally hysterical and screaming and yelling and Prabhupada. Yeah. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing. And I really appreciate how you were able to streamline it, not to go too much into details because at this point, Prabhuji, humble request to you is that, Prabhuji, just as somehow or the other, you have been able to be so chaste to Srila Prabhupada and his movement all these years, because when you joined, you were pretty young. You were really young when you joined, and you are still here today. And you doing anything, everything, just to serve Srila Prabhupada and his movement. That we, second, third, fourth, fifth, eternal generations, we also stay chaste to Srila Prabhupada, because we understand that chastity brings about potency also. We have so many women in our tradition who were so powerful, all because of their chastity. So we pray to Srila Prabhupada through you. You are here with us physically, that we also become chaste to Srila Prabhupada, that we never deviate from his love, his devotion, his wisdom, his teachings, and his house that he built for the entire world to live in, Iskcon. Prabhuji, this is a humble request. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. The path is very difficult, for sure. Over the years, I've seen many of my very dear God brothers, they have strayed away or drifted off. Some of them are in the Gaudiya Math, but it's still Prabhupada's lotus feet are the most safest place. And those who take initiation from Srila Prabhupada, they should stay under his lotus feet. So we see the process very challenging, very difficult. It's constantly a struggle. Even senior devotees, there are struggles. Maharaj Bharata was on the state of bhava, preliminary stage of love, prema, and he got, deviated. So these are warnings to us. And I just pray every day to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nrsingadev to protect me from Maya, very powerful force. Please protect me and keep my mind always controlled. So constant prayer is very important for me. Constant praying for mercy and protection from the Lord in Kali Yuga here. Yeah. So thank you for your mercy and your association.
No, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Our greatest gratitude and appreciation to you for all the love you've been giving us. Even when situations are not convenient for you, you still you still try to come here to be with us and share your love and wisdom with us. The last time we had you here, your health was not very good, but you still stayed and shared your love with us today, the other time, and you're here today too. So thank you so much. Your time is late over there in India. So, dear devotees, we're going to humbly request you all to kindly unmute, and we all chant, whether it is melodious or not melodious, but we're going to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our appreciation to our dear uncle, our great uncle, for his love and wisdom shared with us today. Jai. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare
Vancha kalpa tarikascha,
God, the works of the evil, Vaishnavyo, Namo Namaha.
All glories to His Grace Kripanidhi Prabhu ki jai.
It's nice to see all those glowing moonlight faces in Africa. Oh, they're so glowing faces of devotees. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Until we meet again, Haribol.